What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, definitely share the video, and leave a comment, because I'm sure there's some people on here that might want to talk about the death penalty and what the feds do and what they will do. Tell me if you believe in the death penalty. I want to know. I'm curious. Will the feds kill you? They will kill you for sure. They will strap you in that chair and they will inject a concoction that will take your last breath. While I was a writer for Criminal Legal News, that's the article at the beginning, I had wrote an article about the death penalty. Some people have asked me, do I believe in the death penalty? In some instances, I do. I believe in you rape and kill kids. You probably should be eliminated. I don't believe taxpayers should pay to house you, to feed you, to clothe you. So that's just one of my opinions on the death penalty. All of those dudes on the thumbnail, they're all going to die a lonely death in a lonely room, strapped to a bed. And sometimes you might wonder what's going through their heads. What are they really thinking? So we're going to talk about Shannon first, right? Shannon Wayne Agofsky. When he was 18 years old, him and his brother decided to rob a bank. They captured the bank manager, and they pretty much tortured this dude. They strap him to a chair, they torture him, they throw him in a lake while he's still alive, strapped to the chair. He can't get away, and he dies. Dies a miserable death. He drowns. Shannon goes off to prison. He's 18 years old. And some of you that are watching this video might be 18 right now. You might be thinking about robbing a bank. And if you are, I'm telling you, think twice. Think about the consequences. Think about all the things that could go wrong when you do it. When you walk into this bank, your intentions might not be to kill anybody. But if you have a loaded gun, something might happen. And if something happens, trust me, they're going to lock your ass up. So Shannon goes to prison. He's 18 years old, and you've all heard the stories about Bloody Beaumont, right? There's all kinds of videos about Beaumont and, people killing people and things like that. So Shannon goes to prison, has nothing to look forward to. He'll never know what it's like to father a child. He'll never know what it's like to take a woman out to dinner ever again. He'll never know what it's like to drive a car. Pretty much all hope is gone. He's 18 and he's going to be in prison for the next 60 or 70 years until he dies, until he takes his last breath. All appeals are over with. He's all done. And what does he do while he's in prison, while he's at Beaumont? He ends up killing another dude. He stomps him, kicks him in the head, pretty much just kills him. Ends this dude's life. This dude's 37 years old, right? The dude that he kills. Let me see. He kills this dude. Dude's 37 years old. Dude's serving 15 years. His last name is Plant, right? So he kills Mr. Plant. 30 witnesses at Bloody Beaumont talk to the FBI. There's no way out of this. Definitely not. Shannon's going down. He's on a ship that's sinking. He's on a ship with holes, and he's in the middle of the ocean. It's over. So at 30 years old, he kills this dude. He ends up going to trial. And they sentence him to death. They got some letters that he wrote. One of the letters he wrote, all I do is work out. I wait to leave and hope the cop messes up and let me around some other person so I can test out my hands. He wrote that in a letter, I believe, to his brother. And eventually he tested out his hands. He tested them out on old Luther Plant. And that's what people don't understand, man. When you're 18 years old, you don't really understand much about life, but you think that you do. But really you don't. This kid was a lost kid. Went on a bank robbery with his brother and killed someone. And pretty much it ended his story. They give him till the sun burns out in prison. And in his mind, he's living that prison life. All that stuff you see on movies about prison, and some dudes try to live that prison life in the street. Like they're gangsters and they're this and, prison this and prison that. That's what he was living, man. He was living American History X, the movie. Now, that dude wasn't that movie. He was living that. But not no more. Not no more. The government will take his life. It's all over with. His story will end in a federal prison in a death chamber. That's exactly where he's going to die. And then there's another cat we're going to talk about, because this cat was in USP Lee. I'd spent a lot of time in USP Lee when I was in federal prison. It was a prison where if you were looking for it, it could happen. You could definitely die at USP Lee. But it wasn't a prison where it was balls to the wall, where every day you had to watch your back. That was a prison where, for the most part, men respected men, at least when I was there. But if you got yourself in a situation, they would definitely kill you. They would definitely put that knife in you over there. And I seen some people murdered at USP Lee. Definitely not a very nice place. We're going to talk about Mr. Carroll. Mr. Carroll was from Texas, sentenced to 30 years in prison for drug dealing, right? 2007. I believe it was 2007 he was sentenced. He was sentenced to 30 years. Texas syndicate gang member. Ends up in USP Lee. They're locked down. They bring breakfast. His cellie's asleep. Mr. Carroll takes his cellie's breakfast and he eats it. His cellie gets up. He's like, "Hey, man, where's my breakfast at?" He said, "Hey, man, I ate it." And now they start beefing. You're not supposed to eat your cellie's breakfast, right? Everybody gets hungry in prison, man. So his cellie tells him, "Hey, man, check this out, homie. Tomorrow I'm going to eat your breakfast, fool." The dude's like, "You ain't eating my breakfast." They start arguing. They start beefing. That's something that people don't understand about prison, right? You could be best friends with a dude. And when they lock you in a cell with that person and you're stuck in a cell, and people that are watching this video, you've been on a lockdown, everything that this person does, man, after 2-3 weeks starts to agitate you. When they piss in the toilet and you hear them pissing in the toilet, you get pissed off. You're like, damn, man. When they jump down and they start pacing back and forth on the floor, you get pissed off. Just every little thing pisses you off. So I'm sure these dudes are locked down at USP Lee. Something violent probably happened. And they're starting to get agitated with each other. They start beefing. And Mr. Carroll kills his cellie. Chokes him with a towel. Chokes him with a towel. Think about that. Think about getting choked by your cellie with a towel. He wraps it around your throat and you can't. He's just stronger than you. And there's nothing that you can do. And you see your life flashing in front of your face. And you're on the ground and you know that this is about to end. And both of these cats were Texas syndicate gang members. They were homeboys. They were brothers. And this is what happens. But it wasn't Mr. Carroll's first time. C-A-R-O. There's all kinds of things that he did, man. He stabbed a rival gang member 29 times. Joined that gang. Eventually strangles his cellie with a towel. And what do they do for him? They take him to trial. They take him to trial for killing his cellie, Mr. Sandoval. And they convict him. And now he's going to be sitting on that bed. He's going to be strapped to that bed. And that's where he's going to die. 30 years old, his whole life is gone. And he didn't deny this stuff. How can you? You killed your cellie in your cell. So just before Christmas, right? He kills him on December 17th. He knocks on the window when the CO passes by. What does he tell him? He says, "Hey, man, get this piece of shit out of here." And he points to the floor. And the cop sees Mr. Sandoval laid out on the floor. He hits the deuces, man. He hits that button. All the cops come. They take Mr. Sandoval out of the cell. He's dead. And they call his family. They call Mr. Sandoval's family and they say, "Hey, no, we're sorry. Merry Christmas, your son's dead." Or "Merry Christmas, your father was murdered today at USP Lee in Jonesville, Virginia. Man, imagine getting that call just before Christmas. Or how about Mr. Carroll? He's got to call his family and say, hey, look, man, they're about to strap me to the bed. Who? What do you mean? Oh, they're about to kill me. Why? Well, I killed my cellie. Well, why did you kill your cellie? Oh, because I ate his breakfast and he disrespected me. You ate his breakfast, he disrespected you by telling you that tomorrow he's eating your breakfast and you kill him. Really, man, you killed yourself. You committed suicide. Things like this happen. Think about it. What's it like being locked in a cell, alone with another man for hours, for days, for weeks, sometimes for months? I've been on lockdowns when I was in USP Coleman that lasted a month, 45 days. I've been in the hole with people. You guys heard the Nazi lowrider story. Me and Jimmy, we were in the cell together. Don't think that we didn't beef back and forth at times. But at the end of the day, men respect men, and we ended up making it. But sometimes that shit don't happen. And when it don't happen, it can get real ugly. There's no one there to save you. It's just you and the other man. It's like a gladiator pit. You're in this concrete bunker, this concrete mausoleum. And whether you live or die depends on who's stronger, who's tougher. Sometimes you're not the toughest guy. Sometimes you come up on the bad end. And when you come up on the bad end, it's all bad. It's all downhill. It's all a thumbs down. Crazy, right? How about Paul Kunze Jr., Charles Michael Hall? Kunze is 34 years old. He's at a medical facility. And what does he do? Kills another dude, man. Him and this other dude stomp on this guy, right? They stomp on the kid and they kill him. Had a little beef, him and his partner. They decide, hey, man, we're going to do something to this cat, man. We're going to kill him. They kill Victor Castro Rodriguez right in his cell. They get him in the cell. They viciously assault this cat. 2-on-1. Nothing you can do. They're both sentenced to death. Michael Hall was 43 years old. In 2000, he was sentenced to 16 years in prison. He had 10 years in on that sentence. He's getting ready to go home, right? Got like 2 years left with good time. He'll be out. But he didn't want to get out of jail. He decided he was going to kill this cat. Him and his partner hook up and they kill him, man. They kill him. And he was in jail. This dude from Maine, he's in jail for bomb threats and threatening letters. You know, nonsense, man. Little kid shit. He gets 16 years in prison. And his 16 years turns into a life sentence. And this shit happens more than you might think. I've seen it. I was with a dude from DC, man, that he was a homosexual, man. He was a booty bandit for real. I think he had 15 years and he killed a dude over a homosexual, man. He was a young kid when he went to jail, 18 or 19 years old. He was on ass. He was on booty. Kills the dude and he gets life. They sentence this cat to life. He's going to die in prison. And all he'll ever know is what we call punks. That's all he'll ever know in prison. It happens, so many times where people just, you fuck your whole life off by killing somebody. It's over. You say, hey man, this is where I want to be for the rest of my life. And you kill dudes for nonsense. You kill dudes for no reason. You kill dudes for something so minute, like dude telling you, I'm going to eat your breakfast tomorrow because you ate mine. The dude knew he was wrong when he ate that kid's breakfast. So anyway, Hall, he knows he's facing life and he doesn't want to die in prison, right? He doesn't want to live a miserable life and die after serving 60 years. So what does he tell the jury? In court documents, he says, the only thing that will stop me from killing again is to put me to death. He wrote the federal prosecutors and told them that. And he says that will not be limited to inmates, but staff as well. I just want to make myself clear on this issue. I will continue killing every chance I get. Why do you think he wrote that letter? Remember when you were a little kid and your mom punished you or your dad and you said, I don't care. But really you did care. And this cat right here, he's writing these letters to prosecutors, and I'm sure they're looking at him like he's a little kid, like their son. When they punish their son and tell him, get in the corner. He says, I don't care. Remember those days? I mean, we all can, right? You think this cat really wanted to die? Do you think he really wanted them to strap him to that chair and pump that venom into his veins? He'd take his last breath. He's looking at the chaplain over there. Maybe his mom might be there. But how many people are really there to support him? A bunch of people that are against the death penalty. They might have people outside with signs marching. Government-sanctioned killing is wrong. I bet you he really didn't want to die. I bet you he didn't mean to kill that dude when they went in that cell. I'm sure with a 16-year sentence and a couple years left, he wasn't thinking, I'm going to go in there and kill this dude and never get out. I never want to get out. I'm getting out in 2 years, but I don't want to get out. Of course he wanted to get out of prison. 99.9% of the people want to get out of prison. Very few people want to stay. And this is another case, right? Ricky Fackrell, SAG gang member, Soldiers of Aryan Culture. Him and his partner, right? Mr. Kramer. Both sentenced to death. Fackrell's the guy in the tuxedo. Doesn't look like a killer. Looks like he could be your lawyer. But that was his death trial. That was his trial that he was fighting for his life. And trust me when I tell you, this cat was fighting for his life. And I read all the court documents. You know, he's a pretty well-known dude in prison, man. He was known as a dude that would handle that business. And a lot of these SAC dudes that come out of Utah, you know, the Soldiers of Aryan Culture, they're pretty tough dudes, man. I spent some time with a bunch of these cats. Some of them are from other places. Joe Stevens, tough dude. Mikey Fry, from my area, tough dude. These dudes handle their business, man. And they had policies where they weren't supposed to be drinking, drugging. I think they weren't supposed to be gambling. They're supposed to be living this righteous life. And you got to think about this. You know, most dudes that come to prison, they're in a gang. They probably lived a life of addiction before they came. And these dudes are talking about uplifting, you know, their culture and, you know, doing the right thing. But their victim violates. He's one of their homies. So we just had the Texas Syndicate kid kill his homeboy over his breakfast. And now we got Ricky Fackrell and his partner Kramer, right? And they kill one of their own. And they kill him because he violated the rules. He was drinking. He was using drugs. They decide they're going to go in there and implement discipline. When you're in these gangs, they discipline you in prison. Your homeboys that you think you're cool with, as soon as you mess up, I'll tell you this too, 99% of the time, hey, that brother messed up. We got to punish him. All right, what are we going to do? We're going to stab him. Well, stab him. He's one of our homeboys. We're going to yeah, we're stabbing him. Okay. You're the boss, Kramer. You want to stab this cat? We're going in there. We're stabbing him. Ricky Fackrell and Kramer go in and they stab their homeboy and they kill him. They go into the cell, just stab the shit out of him. It's supposed to be their homeboy, man. This is a dude they probably ate with. They kicked it with. I think all three of them were from Utah. Fackrell, he doesn't want to die. He was fighting for his life, like I said earlier. And he says, man, I don't want to die. But you know what he did after they killed their homeboy? Fackrell went and killed another dude. 90 days later, got 2 murders in 90 days. And he's at this trial and he's fighting for his life. You see, things change when you're in that mood, when you're in that zone. You're in, you know, some people might call it the killing zone or the zone where you're like, man, I'm about to do what I got to do. I'm about to handle this business. And in prison, man, I've seen it. I've experienced it. Where you're hype and you're like, man, this is what it is. Your hands start sweating. Your knees are shaky. And you're about to go do something that you probably shouldn't do. But in the moment, you don't use your brain. You can't think. In the moment, it's all for your gang. In the moment, it's all for your car. And then when the moment is over, you're locked in a cell. And usually when you kill someone, they put you in a cell. Wreck alone, cell alone. You have no one to talk to. It's just you and that guy staring back at you in that mirror. You're standing over that metal sink. You're looking in that mirror. And you have to face reality. And that reality sometimes is all the people that you disappointed. Your mother, you let your mother down. You let your father down if they're still around. Or your grandparents or your son. And you look in the mirror and you say to yourself, they're going to kill me. And you know there's no way out. You're already in federal prison. Either you copped out or you went to trial. And you know how hard it is to beat the government. And you look in the mirror and you know, this is it. You look around. This is my fate. This is where my life ends. I will spend the rest of my life in a cell, looking in this shitty ass mirror over this cold, hard metal sink and toilet. That hard ass mattress be the last mattress you ever lay on. You'll never spend another Christmas with your family. You'll never eat another real piece of pizza. Now you're going to go to Terre Haute, however they want to call it. And you're going to be sitting on death row. And one day they're going to come down the range and it's going to be your day. It's going to be your time to go. You're going to say bye to all your friends. And they're going to have that last knock. Your lawyer will be there. Maybe your mother. Maybe your pastor. Maybe you accept God before you go, make amends. And then they're going to put you in that bed. They're going to lay you in that bed. And this is where they're going to kill you at. They're going to take your life. You're no longer the killing machine. They are. They become the killing machine. This is it, man. This is how your story ends. Sometimes I say, I've been through too much for my story to end like this. And I hope you say the same thing. Your life is worth more. Don't think that you're going to prison for selling drugs and you're going to get out in 5-10 years. I mean, good possibility that'll probably happen. You'll get out when your sentence is over. But there's also a good possibility that you might kill someone or someone might kill you. Death's always at the door, man. Killing is always at the door. You walk into that USP, this shit gets real. It gets real. And let me tell you how real it is, right? Before we close. I think I mentioned this in another interview with someone. I was in Raybrook with this kid, this black kid. He was out of Missouri. He was mixed. And you know what, man? The kid wasn't really a bad kid. He was that, though. He was a kid. Sometimes he'd lay in his bed, and I remember this, man. He'd be looking at his pictures. And you could see that it was breaking his heart. I think he had a daughter or son. And he'd look at his mom and his brother. His brother had just got murdered. He'd look at the pictures. And he'd say, damn, bro, I miss my family. He would tell me that. And the kid thought it was party time in prison. He'd go get drunk, have a great time, start shit with everybody, get shots, get rode up, get in fights. And eventually they send him to Big Sandy. They transfer him from an FCI. Kid's doing a 10-year sentence, 15-year sentence. He goes from a medium security facility and he goes to the big dogs. Goes to USP Big Sandy. He doesn't make it a year. Him and his partner get involved in something. He's holding his partner down. He's a Crip. And they kill. His partner's involved in a situation. He's out there holding a cell down or whatever. And they kill him. The kid that had the issue, that had the problem, he's still alive. But his right-hand man that was holding him down, the dude he was kicking it with, the kid that used to look at his pictures, they killed him. So don't think just because you end up in a low or an FCI that you won't end up in that maximum security federal prison where shit gets real. Think about it. You're in the driver's seat. Where you go from here, it's not up to me. It's not up to your mother. It's not up to your father. It's all up to you. With respect, Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Until tomorrow, we're out.